Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Viewpoint. My name is Mange Venasio, sitting in for Nde Vanessa Shuyong, who is unavoidably absent. Viewpoint is a program that brings to you what people think about current issues in the country and the world at large. In today's edition of the program, we are receiving two gentlemen who are not new to this program. We begin with Mr. Kimbang Vitalis. Good evening, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Good evening, and thank you.
The second guest that we have is not new as well. We have Mr. Mwankang Kum Jerome. Good evening, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Good evening, Mr. Venasius. It's a pleasure to always be on your program.
The pleasure is ours as well for receiving you. Like, you know, the Viewpoint is made up of two parts, and the first part is we have yes and no question session. We begin with the first part immediately after this jingle. This part is made up of yes and no question. We expect our guests to tell us what they think about these issues with a simple answer, yes or no. And we begin the first question with Mr. Kimbang Vitalis. The reconstruction project of the Northwest and Southwest regions, is it practical, Mr. Kimbang Vitalis?
To an extent.
To an extent, therefore it is yes.
Yes, to an extent.
Actually. Mr. Kum?
No.
Mr. Kum says it is not. We take the second question, beginning with Mr. Kum. The internal crisis that seemed to have been abandoned in Cameroon, is it a time bomb, Mr. Kum?
Yes.
Mr. Kum says yes, it is a time bomb. And Mr. Kimbang?
I think I share the same opinion with him.
Yes, it is a time bomb. We take the third question. The seizing of bikes by the forces of law and other in Bamenda for lack of necessary document, is it the right move given the insecurity in that region? Mr. Kimbang Vitalis?
No.
No, he says it is not the right move. And Mr. Kum, is it the right move?
I think yes.
Mr. Kum says yes, it is the right move. The fourth question, should the Cameroon government release all prisoners as a way of fighting COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Kum?
Yes.
Mr. Kum says yes, Cameroon government should release all prisoners. Mr. Kimbang, what is your opinion?
No.
Mr. Kimbang says no, they should not release. And we take the last question. Timid response by Cameroonians toward the COVID-19 Solidarity Fund transmits lack of trust to the authorities. Mr. Kimbang, what is your point?
No.
Mr. Kimbang says no, that it doesn't. And Mr. Kum, what is your point?
Yes.
Mr. Kum says yes, it transmits lack of trust to the authorities. And that does it for the first part of Viewpoint. We'll be back shortly for the debate in the second part. You are welcome back. This is the second part of Viewpoint here on Dbs Television. We begin with the first question, which is the reconstruction project of the Northwest and Southwest regions. Is it practical? Mr. Kimbang Vitalis, you said yes, it is.
Yes, I said yes to an extent. Mr. Mange, if you discover that since 2016, when the crisis deteriorated in 2017, it has not been easy in the Northwest and Southwest. But if you go by what is happening now, at least there is peace in other parts of the Northwest and Southwest.
Actually.
Yes. And so there are villages that people love to go back to those very villages. But those villages were burned down. They don't have schools. They don't have hospitals. So I think if government can start from those villages and reconstruct, people will go back to those villages. To be very candid, there are many people who are internally displaced who would like to go back just today if they know that the reconstruction process has started and is going on in some places effectively. Mm-hmm. Why do I say some places? Because some places are still very, very hot. There are some places that the war has almost come to an end.
Okay.
Yes. But there are some places that practically it is very, very impossible. So we should be very factual the way we put things.
Okay.
Yes. For example, you see, during the elections, most of the villages in the southwest region, they carry out the elections very, very successfully. Meaning that people are now longing for peace. People want to go back to their areas. You take an area like Nkambe, where at first we have pockets of resistance in some part of that area.
Mm-hmm.
But today, I believe that with the work of some powerful elites of that area,
Mm-hmm.
peace has gradually retained, and students are now going to school.
Okay.
So schools and hospitals and even houses need to be reconstructed, so that we can continue with that process
And encourage the people
and
to
encourage
come back.
other people to come back.
Okay, even Mr. Kimbang, given that the war is still going on, like you rightly said, there are still some parts of that region that the war is still ongoing and reconstruction project should continue.
No,
Okay.
in those areas, for example, I've been following up all these things in Kumbu. It is practically very, very difficult because you still hear people in Bui division dying in numbers every day. We cannot just abandon the whole area because
Of a particular locality.
yes,
Okay.
those who have embraced peace and are enjoying peace,
They should give them a chance.
they should give them a chance. We will not keep on punishing other people because others have refused to embrace peace.
Okay.
I'll give you an example of Nkambe. People in Nkambe, they say no. The fact is that they did not deny the fact that there is an Anglophone problem. But they thought it wise that it is through dialogue that this problem can be solved.
Yes.
So they decided to embrace peace. In
They are
Nkambe,
living
said,
in peace.
living in peace.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that there's no Anglophone problem. There's a problem. As I earlier said, I said it the other day, that when you have a problem, the manner and the way you present that problem to the person with whom you have the problem can make you to be a problem.
Okay.
Yes. So that's why we cannot keep on punishing the rest of the people in the southwest and the northwest because some particular areas have refused to embrace peace.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kambang. That is your opinion that we cannot keep on punishing some localities because others think that the war should continue. We turn to Mr. Jerum. Mr. Jerum, you are of the opinion that the reconstruction project in this region is not practical. Your point?
Yes, Mr. Venatius, looking at reconstruction, it is because something happened. There was a war, and there is a war going on.
Actually.
And to talk of reconstruction, the war has to come to an end. We talk of reconstruction after or at the end of a conflict because we are not sure whether the structures that will be reconstructed may not be destroyed in the near future by those still fighting.
Actually.
Because if you look at what is still going on in some part of the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, the war is ongoing. It hasn't stopped.
In some parts.
In some parts, yes,
actually, like
I
Mr.
agree.
Kambang said.
But we cannot completely throw out some other part because some of these separatists or whosoever is engaged in this fighting, they are in some hideout localities, and then they encroach the main towns and cities
And then go back.
and go back. For example, in Limbe, a man was kidnapped and a ransom asked, in the center. So we should not be talking of reconstruction now. What we should be doing is what? Disarmament. Call for a ceasefire. When we're talking of reconstruction, to my own opinion, I think that the government is opening ways for some individuals to enrich their pockets as they have been doing with the help to the so-called IDPs, internally displaced people. So, Mr. Venatius, it is impossible. It is not practical. It will not reach these people because the war is still going on.
Okay.
They will take the money, put in their pockets, and then these people will still come and destroy the little that has been maybe reconstructed. First, the government of Cameroon should accept its responsibility, call for a ceasefire. As they say, Cameroon is one and indivisible, and it is a sovereign state. It is the duty and responsibility of the government of Cameroon to first of all call for a ceasefire. You cannot reconstruct a house that is on fire, whereas the fire has not completely been quenched.
Okay.
So this is an opening for some government stakeholders to enrich themselves while talking of something else.
Mr. Kum,
Okay.
the reconstruction project is one of the
One of the means by the government to handle this crisis.
no, not like that. It is one of the resolutions that were reached during the
Major
national dialogue. And so it is that process of the major national dialogue that we are implementing. So, though, as I've earlier said, those who have embraced peace, let them enjoy the goods from the government. Yes.
And then those who want to continue. Okay, Mr. Kum, when Mr. Kambang was speaking, he raised a point that elites of such regions, like such areas like Nkambe, like he cited, they have been working tirelessly to make sure that peace reign in their locality. Can we say that in some of these areas that have decided to continue with the fight, that the elites in that area have neglected or they are not carrying out their duty?
These areas that are continuing with the fight, we cannot actually say the elites have neglected them.
Actually,
some of their hands are tied.
Okay,
Mr. Kum,
sir.
Yes,
some of their hands are not tied.
They are tied.
Okay.
Permit me explain to you
Yes,
why
fast, because of time constraint.
why
please.
I think some of their hands are tied. They know what to do. Most of the fighting in the northwest and southwest region are being fueled by some of these elites
Yes.
in one way or the other. They know what they can do in order to put an end to this whole show. And to talk of ending a war, there are steps to follow. You don't go and start with reconstruction or whatsoever. The guys must put down their arms in both directions.
Okay.
Before
That is what I'm saying, that some elites have failed in their duties.
Okay.
If you go to Nkambe, it's not magic that the elites on Nkambe are using
to make sure that peace reigns in their own locality.
Telling the youth the truth.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We must indicate here that the government, with this project, has earmarked the construction of over 12,000 houses that were destroyed in villages across the two regions. Anyway, let's continue. We're talking about the crisis still. We talk about the internal crisis. Mr. Kuma, we'll begin with you. The internal crisis that seemed to have been abandoned, that's our second question in Cameroon. Is it a time bomb? You said it is.
Yes.
Yes. Your point.
It is a time bomb. Why? Because everybody's attention is now tilted towards the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
Neglecting the socio-political crisis that has been hitting the country. From the Boko Haram in the extreme north to the northwest and southwest region crisis. When I watched at the news last week, I saw bike riders protesting. And I was very afraid that something even more dangerous than COVID-19 could evoke should the government not employ its intelligence service in order to properly handle crisis in this country. Why? Terrorists now have what we call fair there, the green light to operate. And in the northwest and southwest, where they are talking of reconstruction, there have been shooting, killings in the Bui division, in the Manyo division, in Menchum division, even in Lebialem. They are verifiable. Whereas we all now pretend to fight the COVID-19. It is a time bomb which may explode and take the country unaware.
A time bomb that may explode. Yes, Mr. Kambang, you share the same opinion.
It's not a matter of saying that the government is pretending to solve the COVID-19. The whole world has
is tackling this
the
virus.
whole world has come to a standstill because of this virus. So it is not like the Cameroon government is pretending. If you look all over the world, the whole world has come to a standstill. Everybody has shifted
their attention, yes,
political attention, everything to the fight to fight against this pandemic.
Yes.
So saying that Cameroon government is, I will not buy that opinion.
But you share the same opinion that it is a time bomb.
Yes, it is a time bomb, owing to the fact that some people will take advantage of it. that no, now that the government is sleeping, we should plan more destruction. Yes, because when you listen to the separatist leaders, what they say, they don't mean any good for this nation. Yes, because their agenda is so crude that if we are not careful, they will use this period to plan more evil against this nation. Yes, they might be fighting for a right cause, but the manner in which they go about
is wrong
and very questionable. For example, they have been locking us down. You don't get up in the morning and just lock my mother in the village down. Who needs to go to the farm to harvest before he comes and cook us for food to eat? Whereas you are in the US. They are even shocked that the mother of Chris Anu, who has been announcing that everybody should leave La Republique to Cameroon and go back to Northwest and Southwest. I'm really shocked that the mother and the sister, they live in Yaoundé, beside the President Paul Biya, whom he considers as the greatest enemy. So they might have we the Anglophone, we have a genuine cause. But the manner in which some of us go about, it's my preoccupation.
Okay. That is, we are talking about the abandoning this crisis that may turn out to be a time bomb for us in Cameroon. We take the third question that talks of the seizing of bikes by the forces of law and order in Bamenda for lack of necessary document. And we are asking, is it the right move given the insecurity in that region? Kimbang Vitalis, you say no, it isn't.
It's not the right move, Mr. Venatius.
Yes.
You have to understand that this is a very fragile region. The people have suffered since 2016. If we don't tell the government the truth, we are not doing any good to this nation. The people have suffered since 2016. When you see a bike standing like this, that bike is like a messiah to so many people. The bike is feeding the biker's family, his mother in the village, the hospital bills, the school fees, everything depends on that bike.
Yes.
So when you come and you just seize it and go and keep it, you are not doing good to that person. They say that an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Yeah.
You are instead pushing him to go and join the separatists and start fighting. Because when he will stay in the house and he will discover that his friends are in the bush, kidnapping and taking ransom, and he has nothing to eat, the best thing is that, no, let me go and join them too, and we kidnap and we share the money. And let me tell you, some of these administrators, they have made things very difficult for some elites because they don't understand the culture of the people. They don't understand the way of life of the people. So when you come and you just seize a bike, what do you expect that person to do? Or how do you expect him to live with his family? That is my main concern.
Okay. Mr. Kimbang, we are saying here that they are seizing this bike because of lack of necessary document. And remember, we are in a country that is regulated by law and order.
Mr. Venatius, I know more about this bike issue. Yes.
That's what we want to view.
Yes. When they seize your bike, I told the other day that they say pack fee 3,000. When they seize your bike, they go and ask 15,000 as penalty. What is happening in Bamenda that I've read on social media, and I've also called friends in Bamenda, they have told me that when they seize your bike, you are obliged to pay 50,000 francs.
50,000?
Yes, before you collect the bike. My brother, where can you have 50,000 francs during these hard times?
Okay.
It is very, very difficult.
Okay.
And they have to know that the bikes people in Bamenda, they are in between two forces. If you don't respect the separatist fighters, they will burn down your bike. If you don't respect the government, they will seize your bike. So it is left now for the government to use its discretion to see how they can solve their problem.
Okay. Mr. Kimbang, you said it is not the right move. And Mr. Kumjerum, you shared an opposing view, saying that it is the right move.
Yes, even in the midst of crisis, we must not go out of legality.
Okay.
Yes, the rule of law must still prevail. That is why even during war, there's what we call just war theory. You don't just do what you have to do because of crisis.
Yes.
There are rules and regulations that are governing every situation. Yes, we know that we are in a very difficult situation, but abiding by the law will serve all of us. So in the northwest and southwest, like in any other regions in the country, it is but very normal for every bike rider or any commercial driver to possess his or her document in order to set him free from any trouble. One, this period is taken advantage of by some hot loans who may decide to do anything they want to do. But because you are identified through your papers, through your document, you may restrict your actions, thereby saving some troubles aside. So it is very necessary and important for the security forces to even step up in order to check for the document. What I wanted to propose is what? If we are talking about document pattern or other taxes, licenses that could be evaded or put away, it is good. But to say that they should not check their document or any other thing.
No, we're not saying that they should not check. We're saying they should not seize their bike.
They should not seize their bike.
Why
is it that it's only in Bamenda that they are seizing bikes?
It may not only be in Bamenda. The bike should be seized if it doesn't have the appropriate documents. I repeat and maintain that it is not because we are in the midst of crisis that we should continue in illegality. For example, the face mask that I'm holding here, if I happen to go out and I'm moving, defiling the rules put in step, I'm fine to pay 6,000 francs.
Yes.
And I have sent people right in my quarter who even pay as much as 10,000 francs just for moving without the face mask. It is a rule. We have to respect it, sir, in order to bring what? Normalcy in our society, in our community.
I don't dispute that.
Yes.
It should be universal. It should be national. It should not be to a particular region. We have not heard of soldiers seizing bike in the southwest region, where there's also war going on. We have not heard of soldiers seizing bikes in Douala, where we have thieves that steal from us every day using bikes. I know people in Douala that they can buy a bike and the bike will get old and they will never have a paper showing that they bought a bike. My problem is why is that it's only in Bamenda where bikes are being seized and people have to pay 50,000.
Okay, that's why we asked the question. Given the insecurity in that region, so like he is saying, maybe it's another way of controlling, checking,
Yes, when you seize a bike and I pay 50,000 francs, does that end the insecurity?
Okay, then maybe when you are afraid of that 50,000 francs, you may be on the right order.
Yes. Understand one thing. By making a document does not cancel the fact that the insecurity can still go on.
Okay.
It's just like you are moving on the way and you don't have an ID card and a policeman comes and say, no, you are a threat to the society. What matter is the character, not the paper that you hold.
That you have.
Yes, the paper has nothing to do as far as insecurity is concerned.
Okay. You are watching Viewpoint, and like we said, Viewpoint brings to you what people think on pertinent issues in the country as well as out of the country. Now we take the fourth question, and Mr. Kambang, I was with you. We'll continue with you. Should the Cameroon government release all prisoners in a way of fighting COVID-19 pandemic? You said no, they should not release them.
No, they cannot release all the prisoners.
Yes, we say all.
If we say some, I will accept. If we say all, I will say no. Because if you release all the prisoners from New Belt today, my brother, you will not sleep in your house today.
Yes.
Yes, you will not sleep in your house.
Yes.
We know ardent criminals that are there. That there are even some people that, I'm sorry to say it, that people are even praying that they should die there. Yes.
No, that's what you think.
Because of the atrocities that they have committed in our societies. Yes. So government can only select those who are there with doubtful crimes. Those who are there maybe on what we call besoin d'enquête. Those people can be removed.
Yes, those awaiting trial?
Yes, but those trials will be those that are just
minimal crimes.
Minimal crimes. Not that they go and remove ardent criminals and they will come and even kill us more than the COVID-19 yes.
itself.
Then those that are condemned and more, they remain there. If they die, that's part of their sentences.
Okay.
They should die and go.
Okay. Mr. Kum Jerum, you said
Yes.
that they should be released, that all prisoners should be released as a way of fighting COVID-19. Your point?
Yes, I am of that view. There is no sin that is above forgiveness. There is no crime that cannot be forgiven. These prisoners went to prison because of one offense or the other. So according to my point of view, and owing to the congested and very difficult conditions in our prisons, these people should not condemn to die because they can die because of the COVID-19. They should be released, all of them, and then maybe an appeal to their conscience should be made. Reformatory centers where these people can be reintegrated into society should be set up because what happened before they went to the prison was what? Dysfunctioning of the mind.
Mentality.
Yes, the mentality. They derailed from the truth, and some of them are very sorry and are ready to apologize and do the right thing. Believe me, 90%, especially the political prisoners from the northwest, southwest, in Cameroon and all over the national territory, if you release them today, they not go back to their mess.
No, Mr. Kum.
No,
Okay.
There are people in prison that have stolen billions.
Even if you
steal billions,
if you
and
steal
others are dying of
10
hunger,
billion,
you are a wicked man.
Yes,
you should
if
stay
you-
there and die there.
No,
Yes.
Okay.
there is no crime that cannot be forgiven.
That somebody stole 300 billion, 400 billion, whereas people
But-
are dying of hunger. Then they want to release you
Okay.
to come and continue to steal.
Okay.
No,
Don't
stay
forget,
there and die
don't forget, gentlemen, we are talking about releasing them as a way of fighting COVID-19 pandemic. It's not like releasing them to reform them back in the society. It's
Yes.
as a way of fighting COVID-19, pandemic. Yes. How is that linked to fighting COVID-19 pandemic? That's what I mean.
They in the prison, they are more exposed to COVID-19.
Okay.
They are more vulnerable due to the congested nature of this prison.
Actually.
And we are certain and sure that if they continue there without being released, they can be contaminated. And we can be accused of mercy killing.
Okay.
That we should kill this one because
Mr. Kum,
please
the-
excuse me.
the Bible
we should kill
says-
this one because they are criminals.
Yes.
The Bible-
One has no right,
The-
whether through mercy or through whatever means,
The
to
Bible
kill.
says there's no crime that cannot be forgiven. No
Yes.
sin that cannot be forgiven. But the
Of
same
course.
Bible says that the wages of sin is
Yes,
death.
death.
Is that the
Let them die
wages
there.
of sin
Yes.
is
Those
death.
who are there that are acting criminals for me.
Okay,
Gentlemen,
sir. The only thing I
Dreaming
want to
there
say,
and die
okay,
there.
listen. If you haven't sinned before or you have never stolen, you should be the first to cast the stone on those who are in prison. We are guilty of one crime
Or
or
the other.
the other.
Crimes
So
are
crime is
crimes
crime.
are in category.
No.
Okay,
You don't
gentlemen.
come.
Is sin.
You don't come
Gentlemen.
and kill my mother or kill my father and steal from us. Then I go
Gentlemen,
and then somebody
gentlemen.
steals a piece of meat from the pot. Then you are rated as the same
All
crime.
is
No,
sin.
Gentlemen, thank you.
The
Thank you
wages
so much.
of sin is death.
Thank you, gentlemen. We would have loved to continue because of time constraint. We may be, calling it here because we are caught by time. Mr. Kimbang, we are rounding up just in 30 seconds. Your last word?
Now, what I can say is that the government should continue with the reconstruction in the northwest and southwest in areas where there is accessibility, where it is possible, because we cannot punish the rest of the people because of some particular people.
Okay, that is your view. The
Yes.
government should continue. Mr. Kum, your last word in 30 seconds so that we close.
My last word, especially to the government of Cameroon, is that they should bring a total ceasefire and continue with their reconstruction project thereafter. In this way, whatever thing they will be constructing will be permanent and durable. And in this COVID-19 fight that involved all of us, the right information, I believe that measures should be sent out. We shouldn't count people who are dying, but we should insist on the measures to be taken in order to be alive and reduce fear and panic from the population. Thank you very much, Mr.
Reduce
Benashe.
fear and panic. Thank you, Mr. Kum, for that positive, attitude that we should adopt during this crisis period with the COVID-19 pandemic. That was it we had time for today's edition of Viewpoint. Ladies and gentlemen, keep watching programs here on DBS Television. We'll be around again tomorrow to share with you what people think about current issues. Until then, have a blessed day. Good evening.